Imagine maintaining perfect composure in life's greatest storms, standing firm in your principles. When the world pulls you in every direction, finding profound contentment even when everything falls apart. This is the power of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has transformed millions of lives across 23 centuries. Stoicism teaches us one revolutionary truth. The foundation of a flourishing life lies not in controlling external events, but in mastering our internal responses. In this video, we will explore 5 profound lessons from Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius that can transform your relationship with adversity, desire, and the very nature of human flourishing. This is not theory. This is practical wisdom for living well. Lesson number 1, the discipline of desire. Simplify what you want. In the gleaming marble halls of imperial Rome, surrounded by art and luxury that most humans could never imagine, Seneca faced a question that troubled him deeply. How does one maintain philosophical integrity while possessing great wealth? His wrestling with this question produced some of Stoicism's most profound insights on desire, attachment, and the true nature of contentment. The Stoic teaching on desire is radical and countercultural. We live in a society built on the endless multiplication of desires, where the machinery of consumer culture depends on keeping us in a perpetual state of wanting. Against this backdrop, the Stoics make a revolutionary claim. The path to contentment lies not in satisfying more desires, but in radically limiting them. At the philosophical foundation of this teaching is the Stoic classification of all things into 3 categories: good, bad, and indifferent. The only true good is virtue. The only true evil is vice. Everything else, wealth and poverty, health and sickness, pleasure and pain, reputation and obscurity, even life and death, is morally indifferent. If wealth is truly an indifferent, then being wealthy makes you neither happier nor more virtuous. Your fundamental well-being is completely independent of your bank account. The logical conclusion is stunning. You should desire only virtue and have an aversion only to vice. Everything else should be met with equanimity, rational indifference. The Stoics acknowledged preferred indifference: health over sickness, wealth over poverty. But there is a critical difference between preferring something and desiring it passionately. To prefer something means you will choose it if available, but remain calm if it is not. To desire something passionately means you stake your happiness on obtaining it. The Stoic trains themselves to have preferences, but not passionate desires for externals. The problem with unlimited desire, Seneca explains, is that it creates an internal state of poverty regardless of external circumstances. The person who is always wanting more lives in a psychological state of deprivation. They are poor in the midst of plenty. Seneca illustrates this with a powerful comparison. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. True wealth is not measured by what you possess but by how little you need. This teaching extends beyond material possessions to our desires. Regarding other people and circumstances, we desperately want our children to be successful, our partners to be affectionate, our colleagues to be respectful. All of these wants create points of vulnerability, where our peace can be disturbed. The Stoic practice is to transform the nature of our relationship with them. Instead of desperately needing them to be different than they are, we practice acceptance of what is while doing our best to improve what we can. Epictetus gives radical advice. If you want to develop your capacity for Stoic tranquility, suspend all desire for externals completely, at least temporarily. Desire only to make virtuous choices. Seneca took this practice further with his periodic experiments. In voluntary simplicity, he would spend several days living as if he were poor, eating basic food, sleeping on a hard bed. By voluntarily experiencing what he feared losing, he discovered he could be content with very little. The message of this lesson is one of tremendous liberation. You do not need more to be happy. You need only to develop your character, and to release your attachment to everything else. This is the path from endless wanting to profound contentment. From psychological poverty to true wealth. Lesson number 2, the 4 cardinal virtues, build your character. In the architecture of Stoic philosophy, virtue is the structure itself. The very purpose for which everything exists. All of Stoic ethics converge on a single goal, arete, excellence of character, the perfection of our rational nature. The Stoic position on virtue is uncompromising. Virtue is the only good. Not a good among other goods, but the sole good. This means that if you are virtuous, if you exercise your rational faculty with excellence, you are living a good life, period. Your happiness is complete regardless of whether you are healthy or sick, wealthy or poor, praised or blamed. For the Stoics, this singular good of virtue manifests in 4 interconnected aspects, the cardinal virtues. Like facets of a diamond, each reflects a different angle of the same underlying excellence. Wisdom stands as the master virtue, the one from which all others flow. It is the ability to see reality clearly, to judge situations accurately, to distinguish what matters from what does not. The wise person understands the dichotomy of control, recognizes that externals are indifferent, and sees through the illusions that trap others in suffering. Wisdom is the foundation because without it, we cannot practice the other virtues effectively. Courage is much broader than physical bravery. It is the strength to face what truly is worth fearing, vice, and to remain unmoved by what is not worth fearing, externals. It is the fortitude to endure pain, hardship, and adversity while maintaining one's virtue. Courage manifests in the daily challenges of life. It is the courage to admit when you are wrong, to face uncomfortable truths, to defend the powerless, to maintain your principles when others are compromising theirs. True courage requires wisdom to know what is worth standing firm about. Justice extends far beyond legal fairness to encompass all of our social virtues: fairness, kindness, generosity, honesty, integrity. It is the recognition that we are social creatures, with duties to our fellow human beings that arise from our shared rationality. The Stoics were remarkably progressive, articulating that we are citizens, not merely of our city or nation but of the cosmos itself. Justice requires wisdom to know what is fair, courage to enact it, even when unpopular, and must be balanced with temperance. Temperance is the virtue of self-control, moderation, and proper order in the soul. It is the discipline that allows reason to govern the passions, rather than being governed by them. The temperate person enjoys pleasures when appropriate, but is not enslaved by them. They appreciate beauty without being consumed, enjoy wine without becoming drunk, accumulate wealth without becoming greedy. Temperance extends to all aspects of life: moderation in speech, in emotion, the middle path between deficiency and excess. These 4 virtues are interdependent aspects of a single, unified excellence. You cannot truly have one without the others. Courage without wisdom is recklessness. Justice without temperance is cruelty. The practical implication is profound. Every situation in life is an opportunity to practice virtue. The Stoic message is that these virtues are not innate gifts, but skills to be developed through practice. You become courageous by acting courageously, just by acting justly. With each choice, each action, you are building your character, constructing the inner fortress that nothing external can breach. Lesson number 3, Memento Mori, remember your mortality. In the midst of power, wealth, and pleasure, it is easy to fall into the illusion of permanence. Against this dangerous delusion, the Stoics offer one of their most powerful practices. Memento Mori, remember that you will die. This contemplation of mortality, far from being morbid, is the key to living fully and finding peace. Marcus Aurelius, who wore the purple of empire and commanded legions, Instead filled his private journal with reminders of death and impermanence. You could leave life right now, he tells himself. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Why this constant meditation on mortality? Because the Stoics understood that our anxiety, our petty concerns, our excessive attachments all stem from a single fundamental delusion, that we and what we love will last forever. We cling to possessions as if we can take them with us. We pursue fame as if it will outlive death. We put off what matters, assuming we will have time later. The contemplation of death shatters these illusions. It restores proper perspective. Imagine if you knew with certainty that you would die tomorrow. How would you live today? Would you waste it accumulating possessions you cannot keep? Or would you focus on what truly matters, your character and your relationships? This is not a thought experiment but a daily practice. Every morning, Epictetus taught, you should remind yourself, I am mortal. Those I love are mortal. Today might be the last day I see them. This is not to induce fear, but to cultivate appreciation and urgency about what matters. When you kiss your child goodnight, the Stoic reminds themselves, this child will not live forever, neither will I. This very moment is precious and irreplaceable. The contemplation extends beyond our own death, to the impermanence of all things. Everything you see around you will crumble to dust. From the cosmic perspective, everything is already gone. Mere ripples in the eternal flow of time. But the contemplation of mortality does more than provide perspective. It reveals what is truly important. If everything external is temporary, what remains? Only virtue. Only the quality of your character, the excellence of your choices. The practice of Memento Mori also prepares us for loss. By regularly contemplating the death of those we love, we preemptively practice acceptance. We remind ourselves that they were never truly ours to keep. They are gifts on loan from the universe. Seneca suggests, when you look at your loved ones, silently tell yourself, today, they may die. Not as a curse but as a recognition of reality. This makes you present and grateful. You stop wasting time on petty arguments. You say the important things while there is still time. The profound message of Memento Mori is this: by remembering that we will die, we learn how to live. Death is not the enemy of life but its teacher. The force that gives life urgency, meaning, and beauty. A sunset is beautiful precisely because it is fleeting. Your life is precious precisely because it is temporary. The Stoic does not live in morbid obsession with death, but in vibrant appreciation of life, made all the more vivid by the awareness of its impermanence. Remember you will die. Remember all things pass. Remember that this moment, right now, will never come again. And then live accordingly, with urgency, with gratitude. With focus on virtue and love, unencumbered by illusions of permanence. Lesson number 4, the practice of gratitude. Transform your perspective. In the literature of Stoicism, gratitude might seem an unexpected theme. Yet Seneca wrote extensively about gratitude, considering it one of the most important practices for a flourishing life. His insight: gratitude is not merely a pleasant feeling, but a powerful tool for maintaining tranquility and proper judgment. The Stoic practice of gratitude is fundamentally different from how gratitude is commonly understood. For most people, gratitude is a response to getting what they want. This kind of conditional gratitude is fragile and fleeting. Stoic gratitude, by contrast, is not contingent on getting what you want, but on recognizing and appreciating what you have, particularly those things that are most fundamental yet most easily overlooked. The foundation of Stoic gratitude is the recognition that everything you possess is a gift from the universe, on temporary loan. Your life itself, your capacity for reason, your ability to choose virtue, none of these were guaranteed. Everything you have is, in a sense, undeserved grace. This recognition transforms how we hold what we have. Instead of taking things for granted, instead of feeling entitled to our blessings, we can consciously appreciate what we possess. Seneca suggests a powerful practice: regularly contemplate what your life would be like without the things and people you value. Not to make yourself anxious about losing them, but to realize how much they add to your experience. This practice has a remarkable effect. Suddenly, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The fact that you can see, hear, walk, think, these everyday miracles become visible. The people in your life become precious. Even simple comforts become recognizable gifts. The shift in perspective does not change your external circumstances, but it completely transforms your experience of them. Stoic gratitude also serves as an antidote to the constant wanting that characterizes human experience. As Seneca noted, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Gratitude breaks this cycle by redirecting attention from what is absent to what is present. This practice is especially powerful in the face of adversity. The true test of Stoic gratitude is whether we can find things to appreciate, even when circumstances are difficult. And the Stoics insist that we can, not through delusion, but through proper understanding. Even in difficult circumstances, there are always things to be grateful for. Moreover, the Stoics taught that we should be grateful, even for challenges themselves, for they provide opportunities to develop our character. Adversity is the gymnasium where virtue is trained. Without challenges, we would have no opportunity to demonstrate courage, patience, resilience. We can be grateful not despite our difficulties but because of them. Seneca goes further, suggesting we should be grateful to those who wrong us, for they give us opportunities to practice forgiveness and patience. We should be grateful for our enemies, who show us our weaknesses and motivate us to improve. This kind of gratitude requires wisdom, to see the hidden opportunities in apparent misfortunes. But perhaps most importantly, Stoic gratitude is ultimately gratitude for the gift of existence itself. Within a rationally ordered cosmos, the universe has given us life, consciousness, and the capacity for reason. It has made virtue, the highest good, always available to us, regardless of circumstances. For all of this, the Stoic feels profound gratitude. The practice of gratitude becomes a daily discipline. Each morning, take time to consciously acknowledge what you are grateful for. When difficulties arise, look for what can be appreciated even in the challenge. When you notice yourself focused on what is lacking, deliberately shift your attention to what is present. The message of this lesson is that gratitude is not a feeling to wait for, but a perspective to choose. By consciously practicing appreciation for what we have, we transform our experience of life. We move from a state of perpetual dissatisfaction to one of contentment. We find peace even in difficulty. Lesson number 5, Philosophia as a way of life, commit to constant growth. Among all the teachings of Stoicism, perhaps none captures its essence more completely than the understanding that philosophy is not an academic subject but a way of life. A daily practice of becoming better, wiser, and more virtuous. The Stoics distinguished sharply between those who merely talk about philosophy and those who actually live it. This final lesson is both a culmination of all that has come before, and a call to continuous, lifelong practice. The Stoic term for this way of life was philosophia, the love of wisdom. But wisdom was not an abstract body of knowledge to be memorized. It was a living capacity, a skill to be developed through constant exercise. You cannot become wise by reading books alone. You must practice daily, in real situations, applying philosophical principles to actual challenges. Central to this understanding is the Stoic distinction between the sage and the Procopton. The sage, the perfectly wise person, is the theoretical ideal. But the Stoics acknowledged that perhaps no one actually achieves this perfect wisdom. What matters is not reaching the endpoint but the journey toward it. The Procopton is the one making progress, the student, who is actively working to become wiser and more virtuous. This is a crucial and liberating insight. You do not need to be perfect to practice Stoicism. What matters is the direction you are moving, the effort you are making, the progress you are achieving. Every day that you consciously practice is a day of philosophical success, regardless of how far you still have to go. Epictetus emphasized that philosophy must be practiced daily in small things, before it can be relied upon in great ones. You do not suddenly become courageous in a crisis, if you have not been practicing courage in minor challenges. This means that every moment of every day is an opportunity for philosophical practice. Stuck in traffic. Practice accepting what you cannot control. Someone cuts in line. Practice patience. Feeling anxiety about tomorrow. Practice bringing your attention to the present moment. The mundane moments of daily life are not distractions from philosophy. They are the very arena where philosophy is practiced and developed. The Stoics prescribed specific daily practices to support this constant growth. Morning meditation to prepare for the day ahead. Evening review to examine how you applied philosophy during the day. Regular reading and contemplation of philosophical texts. Marcus Aurelius's meditations provide a window into this practice. His private journal where he reminded himself of Stoic principles repeatedly. This repetition was not because he had forgotten these lessons, but because he understood that philosophical wisdom must be constantly reinforced. The commitment to constant growth also requires humility. The recognition that you have not arrived, that you can learn from anyone and anything. Every situation contains a lesson if you are humble enough to look for it. Seneca captures this beautifully: "I am not a sage, nor shall I ever be. I am merely one trying to improve, one who loves wisdom and pursues it." This honest acknowledgement of imperfection, combined with sincere commitment to growth, is the authentic Stoic stance. The practice of philosophy requires consistency over intensity. It is better to practice a little every day than to have occasional moments of intensive study, followed by long periods of neglect. This daily practice gradually transforms who you are. The separate practices begin to integrate into a unified way of being. This is the goal, not to perfectly follow rules, but to become a person who naturally thinks and acts with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. The ultimate message of this final lesson is one of hope and empowerment. You can always grow, always improve, always become wiser and more virtuous. No matter how many mistakes you have made in the past. This present moment offers a fresh opportunity to practice philosophy. Philosophy, understood as the Stoics understood it, is not a subject you study, but a craft you practice, not a destination you reach but a direction you travel. It is the commitment to constant examination, constant learning, constant growth toward wisdom and virtue. And this commitment itself, this choice to walk the philosophical path, is already a manifestation of the very virtue you seek to develop. In a world filled with distractions and uncertainties, Stoicism offers a timeless and practical guide to maintaining calm and composure. By embracing these 5 lessons from Stoicism, you can navigate life's challenges with grace, wisdom, and inner peace. From a painted porch in ancient Athens to this very moment, the wisdom of Stoicism has endured, for one simple reason: it works. But knowledge alone accomplishes nothing. The ancient masters lived these principles daily. And now, the choice is yours. Will you close this video and return to your old patterns? Or will you take the first step on the Stoic path right now? Here is what I want you to do. Choose one lesson from this video. Just one. And practice it today. When you feel anxiety rising, apply the discipline of desire. When you face difficulty, welcome it as your teacher. When you notice yourself wanting more, practice gratitude for what you have. Start small. Start now. Because this present moment is all you truly possess. Before you go, if this video brought you value, I need your help to spread this ancient wisdom to others who are struggling. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Share this video with someone who needs it. Leave a like if these lessons resonated with you. And most importantly, drop a comment below, telling me which lesson you will practice first. Your comment might inspire someone else to begin their Stoic journey. Remember, the ancient masters, Zeno, Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, they all began exactly where you are now. With a single choice. With a single moment. This is the way of the Stoics. This is the path to inner peace. This is the art of living well. The choice to walk this path begins right now. And in that choice lies all of your power and all of your freedom. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video, where we will explore even deeper wisdom for mastering life's greatest challenges. Until then, remember, you are not a puppet of circumstance. You are the master of your mind. And that changes everything.